The faulty item exchange solution, also referred to as fix, will enable specific asset types such as smartphones or tablets to be made exchangeable from a pool of spare items. These items will be located in a faulty item exchange locker system. Prior to the release of a spare item, the user will be required to choose from a predefined list of fault descriptions at the locker system. The item may be then either released to the user as their new replacement or temporarily released whilst the faulty item is repaired. With this in mind, exchanging a faulty item may be considered as a one-way or two-way exchange process. The fix process can be configured to suit 3 user types. This video will focus on the fault admin user role. Before proceeding to set up or utilize the faulty item exchange locker system, it is recommended that you refer to the following documents. The faulty item exchange feature comprises of a combination of 3 main features and 1 optional feature. The following limitations need to be considered when using the faulty item exchange locker system. Fix will only support 1 common item access group or item type per locker system. Fix locker systems cannot be used with non-RFID lockers. An item can only belong to a single common item access group. Fix will only function on non-standalone systems using Traka Web. The following feature options are not currently compatible with faulty item exchange lockers. The faulty item exchange feature will need to be enabled on your Traka Touch system by loading a configuration file. Please contact Traka or your distributor for further details. Creating faults can only be carried out by a user with the admin role active in their user permissions. As with the standard fault logging feature, it is important that the fault definitions are suited to the particular item type, such as cracked screen for example if the item is a laptop. For information on fault logging specific to the fix process, please refer to UD 0231 Faulty Item Exchange Lockers User Guide. When a user with the admin only role returns a repaired item or replaces a new spare item into the locker, a fault must be selected. In this instance, an additional fault may be created that may simply state that an inspection is required. This may later be cleared at Traka Web by a fault admin user. To enable the newly created item type, you will now need to return to the Traka Web admin app. Within the Feature Options tab, you will notice that the fault logging feature is already active. Also notice that the system default is set for On Return. This is the default state which cannot be changed. You will also notice from the default item type drop-down menu that any recently created item types are not listed. You must now close the app and then relaunch it. This will enable the item type to become available from within the Feature Options tab. After logging back into the admin app, the default item type drop-down menu will now be updated. Select the required item type and the fix system will use the fault definitions applicable to that item type. Don't forget to click on Save before you continue. Item access groups with the Common Group option ticked in Traka Web are known as Common Item Access Groups. These are used in the fix process to apply a common item access right to any items that are a member of the group. The group can be shared across 1 or more systems to which the items can be returned. Because the fix process borrows from RRMS, you will notice the group type is set for RRMS. This may only be removed by unticking the Common Group option. For more information on RRMS, please refer to UD 0018 Traka Web User Guide. You will notice within the Details tab information relating to the item access groups. A user with the fault admin role will have the ability to remove faulty items from the fix locker and place repaired items. They will also have the ability to clear and repair faults at Traka Web if they have been given software permissions. If required, they may also add, edit and delete users in Traka Web and perform any necessary admin activity within Traka Touch. The process for creating the 3 different user types is quite similar, the main difference being the allocation of the user access permissions. For more detailed information on creating users, please refer to UD0018 Traka Web User Guide. When creating a user with the Fault Admin role, ensure that the Fault Admin checkbox is ticked in the System Access Grid. This will enable them to remove faulty items from the locker as well as clearing faults in Traka Web. Clicking on the Item Access tab will display a list of previously created item access groups. Select which groups this user will have access to and then click on Save and Return. You will later return to the users page and allocate users with access to item access groups once the fixed locker has been populated with items. It is important to remember that when you have completed placing items in the fixed locker, that one compartment remains empty. This will ensure that there is always a compartment available for a user to place a faulty item in exchange for a non-faulty item. In this example, the first compartment will remain empty for allowing a faulty item to be placed. A user with the fault administration rights to the fixed locker system will be able to place RFID tagged items. First, log into Traka Touch and then select I know what I want. At the next screen, select a position for placing an item. A message will be displayed asking if the item you are returning has any faults. Select No. The locker door will now open, enabling the item to be placed into the empty compartment. When an item is placed into a locker compartment, it will be recognised by its RFID serial number, which can be viewed at the Item Administration screen in Traka Touch. The Traka Touch screen will now show which compartments contain items. Repeat this process as necessary until all but one of the locker compartments contain an item. In Traka Web, the System Viewer will display all the items with RFID tags that are currently in the system. The details for an item can be edited as required by selecting item types within software settings located on the navigation toolbar. Next, select the item type and then click on the Edit button. At the next page, you can enter any required description details for the item as provided in the Details grid. Once completed, click on Save and Return. From the System Viewer grid, you can now select an item followed by clicking on the Edit Items button on the ribbon toolbar. From the drop-down menu in the Details section, select the item type and then enter any required details. Once completed, click on the Save and Return. When you return to the System Viewer, you will see that the item type has now been assigned to that item in the system. This process can then be repeated for all the items that are currently in the system. Once completed, the System Viewer will show all the items in the system and one empty compartment. Now that all the items have been allocated with item types, they can now be assigned to a common item access group. From the navigation toolbar, click on the Items icon, then select Item Access Groups. At the Item Access Groups page, select the common item access group that the items will be assigned to. Next, click on the Edit button and you'll be taken to the Edit Item Access Group page. Next, select the Item Access tab. You will now see a list of the available items in the system. As the fixed system will only allow one item type per item access group, select the Grant All option. Once completed, click on Save and Return. The fixed locker is now set up and ready to receive faulty items in exchange for spare items. Firstly, the item user recognises that the held item has a fault and must therefore place it in the fixed locker. The fault admin user will log into the Traka Touch system where they can select the I know what I want icon. Next, they'll be taken to the item screen. Here they'll be able to view any items with logged faults. The fault admin user will then select a faulty item. A fault acknowledgement prompt will then appear to advise of the faults logged against the item. On acknowledging the faults, the compartment containing the faulty item will then open and the user will be prompted to remove it. The user can then remove the item from the fixed locker. Because the fixed lockers feature borrows from RRMS, the position of the removed item on the screen will appear as not being assigned and the item is deleted when removed from the system. The fault admin user may also replenish the locker with new spare items as required. Any new items will need to be set up as they will have no previous record of being in the locker. Placing items will also require the user to acknowledge if the item has any faults. If the user selects no, the door will open and the item can then be placed. The user will then close the door and log out. As faults can only be repaired and cleared at Traka Web, a user with relevant fault software permissions in Traka Web may access the outstanding faults page in Traka Web to repair, clear, or if required, create faults. The faulty item exchange feature does not have a reports role at the Traka Touch system. However, certain reports can be viewed in Traka Web.